Welcome to the Pit Check, your weekly news for the best new albums from your favorite extreme metal and hardcore bands. Today we have a really solid mix of genres, so there's going to be a little something for everyone this week. We've got some classic metalcore, we've got some grind and death metal, and we've got possibly the best mathcore album released in a decade. And then finally, we've got some disgustingly heavy deathcore and slam to round things off. Like I said, you're bound to find something you love this week. And of course, like always, at the end of the episode, I'll have the full list of all the albums that we did and did not cover this week. So subscribe to the channel, and let's get right into this week's best and heaviest new albums. This might be the best mathcore album released in a decade. The insanely talented mathcore band, the Callous Daoboys, have just released their latest legitimate masterpiece of an album, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven. Someone on Reddit said these guys are Fall Out Boy meets the Dillinger Escape Plan, and honestly, that's so perfect. This band is able to go from southern riffs and panic chords to funky trombones and horns to catchy pop melodies and grooves to just straight up devastation. And the fact that they managed to make it all sound cohesive is something that needs to be studied. I also love how deeply personal and meaningful this album is, with vocalist Carson Pace saying, "Everything is very singular and personal. I'm not making an album commenting on anything societal or political this time. This is just an album for me. It's every emotion I've felt and sobering thought since 2021. I can only make this album now. Not in 3 years when I'm 30, not 10 years ago when I was 17. This is a snapshot of 24 through 27. A scrapbook of trial and error, or better yet, a museum of failure." I can already guarantee this will be a lot of people's just straight up album of the year. It's so unbelievably unique and interesting and never gets stale or boring. The replayability of this album alone has it in the top 5 for me, which is insane on a year like this with non-stop heaters. Definitely check this one out. I could not possibly recommend it more highly. Need some solid classic melodic metalcore? Celebrating almost 2 decades as a band, UK metalcore giants Bury Tomorrow are back with their 8th full-length studio album, Will You Haunt Me With That Same Patience. Okay, so I think this one's actually going to be surprisingly divisive. Some fans are already saying this album doesn't really shake things up enough, and other fans are saying, no, this classic melodic style is exactly why we listen to Bury Tomorrow. So the best way I can put it is, if you like Bury Tomorrow and want more good music from them, then you'll love this. But I'm not sure I totally agree with that. This album is a lot more creative and interesting than people are giving it credit for. Songs like Yokai are absolute rippers. And others like Found No Throne are haunting and beautiful. And I really have to commend the fairly new vocalist Tom Prendergast for once again showing why he deserves to be in this band. I think this is an album that definitely depends on the headspace you have when going into it. I think on first listen, it might sound a little underwhelming or just like another standard metalcore album, but once you run it again, knowing what the album actually is, I think you'll find this is a really, really solid album. And while it might not be the absolute best thing they've ever done, it's a really solid output and it stands on its own 2 feet against their entire very impressive discography. Southern California hardcore is continuing to dominate. The sludgy hardcore punk band Clique is exploding on the scene with their debut album, In Lives That Won't Last. So, fun fact, this actually isn't really a debut album. It's a remixed and remastered collection of all of their demos and EPs that were previously only available on these like self-distributed tapes that you had to get at their shows. So it's awesome to get a good quality version of all of their work in one package. And what's really kind of cool and unique about this collection is that you can actually listen to them grow and evolve as a band. You can hear their early work where they have these just ignorant caveman riffs to this really focused and aggressive sound that has a lot to say. And it all feels like it strangely works together. It's all raw as hell and unbelievably hard-hitting. I also love the ethos behind this band, forming with explicit political intent. They feel like a lot of bands have lost their edge now or feel toothless and kind of this hollow posturing, and they want to rectify that with just in-your-face and unavoidable messages. This is definitely not for the hardcore shouldn't be political crowd. The band puts it best themselves, saying, "This is a prayer for those we've lost along the way. This is a celebration of our liberation to come. This is a eulogy for the state and its worthless existence." And the message is clear. No one is coming to save us. We can only make our own future together. This music is both a reflection of our hellish reality and an invitation to imagine and create something better. Click up, say nothing. Sick. This is one of my favorite grindcore bands of all time. The incredible, chaotic death grind band Full of Hell is back with their latest EP, Broken Sword, Rotten Shield. Okay, the reason why this is one of the top tier grind bands for me is honestly their willingness to experiment. They've proven time and time again that they can flawlessly put together noise and death grind and never sound repetitive or formulaic. And now recently they've been playing around with this more introspective and strangely punk influenced sound, and it's just so good. My literal one flaw with this release is that it's, well, too short. For a grindcore band? I know, shocker, right? But for real, there's quite a bit of interludes and kind of electronic moments. But for me, when it comes to bands like this or Nails, every second counts. So when this album ended, I was kind of like, you know, when you have like 2 Cheetos and you're like, no, I need more. And to me, the reason why this isn't a problem in the slightest is that this is one of the hardest working bands I've ever seen. Since 2011, not only has this band put out 6 studio albums, they've also put out 25 different demos, EPs, and splits. So if you ever want more music from them, just wait a couple months. There's always something new on the horizon. I am constantly blown away by this band, and if I didn't get this new tattoo literally like last night, I'd be wearing the new long sleeve that just came in this morning. I highly recommend this new release, and honestly, anything in their entire discography. Need an absurdly heavy new deathcore album? The horror-themed and grotesquely heavy deathcore band Larcenia Row have just released their sophomore album, Extraction. Like I said, this is some horrific deathcore. It's eerie and dissonant and atmospheric, and it has a lot of obviously unsettling themes and even body horror. It's like this band was made for me. The riffs here are brutal and aggressive, with a surprising amount of slam influence, especially in these planet-destroying breakdowns. I love that an article I read called them a sonic freak show. And you know what? I can kind of see where they're coming from. This is sort of giving if Terrifier was a band. It's got this amazing blend of horror and carnage, while managing to be able to stand out amongst the crowd with this really fresh and innovative sound. This is a pretty addicting album, especially with these insane features from Filth, Vulvodynia, and Alex Kohler. I highly recommend checking this out if you love deathcore or slam and you're looking for something new and fresh. This band is gonna rearrange your guts. Wait, that's not what I... The disgustingly heavy slam crossover band Gutrectomy is back with this insane new album, Angst. I unironically love this band. I love the way that they fuse together slam, deathcore, and beatdown hardcore into this extremely intense, aggressive, and brutally heavy sound. No mercy! I don't know about you, but I'm kind of surprised by how long this album is too, and how varied all of the tracks are. I mean, honestly, like slam bands, I love them, but they're not really known for having long or varied albums. But this is 13 tracks of the most innovative and hard-hitting songs I've heard in this genre in a long time. There's also some monstrous features from Crown Magnetar and Kyle Medina of Body Snatcher, further blurring those lines between their deathcore and slam sides. I had a really fun time with this one, and if you're a fan of any of these genres, I can guarantee you will too. There's enough riffs, blast beats, and breakdowns to satisfy even the most stuck-up slam fan. Metalcore has been having an unbelievable year. Between Landmark, Spiritbox, Thornhill, and so many more, 2025 has been an absolutely stacked year. And now the band Confessions of a Traitor have just entered the ring with this phenomenal new album, This Pain Will Serve You. If you're a fan of melodic metalcore, especially bands with extremely emotional and deeply resonating personal themes, you need to pick this album up ASAP. This band does a really flawless job of having these dark and haunting songs that resolve in these uplifting and strangely fulfilling climaxes. Almost like the band is helping you experience and then overcome your grief instead of just dwelling on it. There's also like a ton of amazing features on this album. We've got Convictions, War of Ages, Moments, Exist Immortal, Heal the Hurt, and just so many more. And I love how they balance these collaborations between all of their various styles. And honestly, it even plays into the theme of the album. You can only really overcome your tragedies of life by sticking together and helping each other out. Do you want a good blend of deathcore and metalcore? The deathcore crossover band Dissociated has just released this brutally heavy 5-song EP, No Connections. It's funny, this band has been described as a crossover between Invent Animate and Chelsea Grin. It's melodic and atmospheric while also being crazy heavy. If you're a fan of bands like Currents, I'm sure you'll love this one. And now, as promised, here's the list of all the bands that we did and did not cover this week. There's a lot of good stuff in here, so definitely check some of this stuff out. Hate Within, Citrus, Friction, Guy, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And that's it for this week. I'll catch you next week for some more metal and hardcore album reviews.